What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And I really want to dive in on retirement accounts and the TSP 401k and just a lot of the different opportunities that are out there that right now a lot of people don't know what their 401k is investing in. So if you don't know what your 401k or your TSP is invested in, stay tuned to this video today. So one of the things that I really realized that, the Department of Labor says there's $1.6 trillion trapped in unclaimed retirement account. That's a problem. That's a lot of money that's allocated probably into non-performing funds and the market with no real allocation or strategy behind it that are getting less than par returns. And so one of the things that a lot of people, and I talk to real estate clients that are really looking to get into real estate, and so one of the things that they realize once we have a consultation is their number one asset that they have is their retirement account, especially former employer retirement accounts. If you have worked for another organization and you haven't moved retirement money, then you probably got money left over there. You probably need to reach out. Department of Labor actually has a website where you can put your information in and see if you have unclaimed retirement account money that's out there. And so that's definitely something to check out. But a lot of times people don't really look at their 401k, their TSP, when they leave the organization, and they just leave, forget about it. And most employers, depending on if you're a nice size employer, they're going to have some type of retirement benefit that you sign for on the very first day. And you forget about it. They give you a couple of options, you check a couple of boxes, and you never look back at it again. And that's one of the things right now that a lot of people, most of their wealth is tied up in a 401k or TSP, where we don't have in the past. The military, of course, still has a pension. There's very few organizations today that in 2025 that actually have a pension for their employees. And so that's why we see a lot of career movement with moving around different organizations. I know I have a couple peers, friends been in corporate America that's with the same company like Microsoft or with the federal government or with Walmart corporate. Microsoft. So those a couple companies like that. But by and large, I know a lot of people that moved around different defense contractor companies as well as consulting companies. And so with that, you have different employer qualified plans that you have your retirement money in. And so there is the advantage and opportunity that you all have with leveraging self-directed retirement accounts. So a self-directed IRA, so individual retirement account, IRA. And so now you are able to take that money that you had locked up in that qualified plan where you couldn't move it, where you were locked into the investments that the company allowed you to have, whoever their plan provider was. Now you have the opportunity to self-direct into different investments. And so self-directed IRAs are a great opportunity to invest in alternative investments. So when you start thinking about multifamily funds, being able to invest in institutional deals that are going to buy apartment complexes, and you're one investor in there, and you're able to ride the wave with the professional management, with the track record and experience that the operational team, the sponsor, has. And so you have multifamily, you have self-storage, value add opportunities, you have oil and gas opportunities to invest that can do really great things, especially when you start looking at Roth conversions, and especially for older clients who may have the mandatory withdrawals from their retirement accounts, where you can look at taking capital that you would have to pay taxes on. That's a mandatory withdrawal. You can take that mandatory withdrawal, take that capital, invest it into an oil and gas offering, and then now receive a tax break or tax write-off with the indirect drilling costs and depletion allowance, that now you can write off essentially almost all of that tax bill that you would have for that year from being able to take that off. So especially if you don't need that capital that's coming out of those retirement accounts, but you're forced when you turn 73 where you have to take that money out, then being able to invest that in a cash flowing fund that invests in oil and gas, and it allows you to wipe out that tax bill so you don't have to pay the government the taxes on that withdrawal. So strategies like that we're seeing out there right now that are wealthy are using, but then also just overall with private credit and private equity offerings as well too, that you can invest with your retirement account and you're able to self-direct. And I think, there's countless stories and abilities on how you can leverage this to build wealth. And so a lot of people want to invest in real estate. They know real estate is a great asset class. It's built, 90% of the world's millionaires. I don't know if that's still true today with like tech and crypto, but it's built over the last few centuries. It's definitely built the most millionaires. And the thing with it, now you have a resource that you have your money, because you have to take control of this. Like, the government is not giving you pensions, these corporations aren't giving you pensions, and so they're putting it all on you in order to save for your retirement. And so being able to invest in these alternative investments that just going to give you a diversification, it's going to give you income that's coming in directly to your portfolio. You're investing in real assets. We see the damage that inflation is doing to the buying power of the dollar right now when it comes to groceries, just everyday living, fuel, and prices of real estate. Real estate is a great hedge against inflation. You look at when we had one of the highest inflationary times ever in history back in the 70s, and what did real estate do? It went up. When we printed all of the money post COVID, uh, with the rebound from COVID, and we did all the quantitative. Like, we did all the not quantitative easing. Well, I guess we did do quantitative easing, but when we did all the money printing during that period, that inflation ran wild, and that's why you saw a lot of Wall Street and institutional funds start going into real estate and build to rent, because they knew they had all this money they had to place, capital that they had to place, and they knew real estate prices were going to appreciate because of inflation and just the low interest rates in that environment. And so we have to follow the same path. And so the wealthy have been using a lot of these different strategies with the self-directed IRAs. And I'll just give you one strategy. I was at a conference speaking about multifamily investing in Alabama back in September at shout out to John there put on the Charm Real Estate Conference there in North Alabama. And so there was a company there, Directed IRA, and they were talking about a strategy with self-directed IRA from a gentleman. He had took out, I think they said about 75,000 in his employer retirement account. He did a custodian to custodian rollover, move the money directly into a self-directed retirement account, which that process takes like just 2 weeks. You can open a new account in as little as 5 minutes with a couple companies. I can give you guys some recommendations on companies that I see different people who work with, investors on that side. But he took that 75,000, moved that money into a self-directed IRA, and he started doing creative financing with real estate, subject to. So if you guys know about subject to, where essentially someone may be a pre-foreclosure, you catch the loan up, you take over the loan, and you keep the loan in that person's name for the rest of the term that they had in the mortgage. And now you pay it off each month. Now the monthly cash flow, if you rent it out, comes to your retirement account, pays the mortgage, whatever cash flow is left over goes to your retirement account. And so he did that. This gentleman bought 8 homes over a couple years, starting in 2012, between 2012 2014, I believe it was. He bought 8 homes in Austin, Texas, using subject to. So he would take maybe 15,000 to catch up the past due payments, and then he would take over the mortgage, rent it out, make $500-$600 a month, and then just continue to own the real estate. And so fast forward from that time frame, 2012 2014 to 2025, that over half of those properties are paid off, and the other ones are coming close to being paid off. And guess what? The appreciation that's happened in the real estate, that those properties have appreciated. And we already know Austin, Texas, even now the values have scaled back some since the height of post COVID, where you had max appreciation. But since then, the debt's being paid down by the tenants, rents have gone up over the years, and the value of the real estate has appreciated, and none of that debt was in his name. And so from a $75,000 invested in taking over with creative financing these mortgages, he has a portfolio in his self-directed IRA of over $4 million. Those 8 homes now have a value of over $4 million, and they're almost all paid off. And guess what? He started with $75,000, guys. That's the thing, when you take the knowledge and information of investing and being creative and marry that with being able to grow it in a deferred tax advantage, or put it in a Roth component where you can have a self-directed Roth IRA where now it's completely sheltered from having to worry about paying taxes, and you build wealth like that. And so he just started with 75,000. So the thing that I want to encourage you all, like wherever you are right now in your investing journey, it's okay. Like you can make up for a past, but you have to get started. You have to get the information. You have to get the strategies on how to be successful. So now, he's looking at selling some of those homes. He's over 59 and a half, so he can sell and start taking distribution, sell the homes, and all the proceeds from the sale goes back into his retirement account. And now he has the assets and built it up. And so I just want to encourage you guys on the power of this. And so make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it. Supercharge Your IRA workshop is coming up. We're going to have a workshop for a couple hours, November 18th. Make sure you guys get a seat. It's normally $497. I'm doing this one free to get people in here. I want to give people the information and get it out there on how you can take back control of your investment accounts and make a change, because we see everything that's happening out here and we have to be empowered. And there's so much opportunity now. Current administration, President Trump signed an executive order a couple months back where they want to expose 401ks to private equity more. And that's one of the things that people have kept and sheltered back the 401ks, that employers, because it hasn't been allocated or allowed to be allocated to their portfolios. But that's how the rich have been getting rich and the wealthy. And I see it. I just came back from a due diligence trip with an oil and gas company, raising $175 million. And you're seeing these private offerings and the potential returns that they're going to offer clients. And that's how you build wealth. If you can double your money every 5 years, you're winning. And and that's, in a lot of cases, the last decade, people have made a lot of money. And so that's what we're doing with everything that as a financial advisor now, and just those opportunities. So book a call if it's something that you want to look at, like, hey, how do I leverage this self-directed IRA? How do I, look at some of the strategies with buying different assets to build my wealth? Come to the workshop or book a one-on-one call if you want to. But and we're gonna have those conversations and helping people level up. So that's it for today. I'll see you guys on the next video, and hopefully see you in the workshop. And let's go. Let's make some equity happen.